So we are going to get started as people are joining. So welcome, Stevens community on this 21st day of April. It is week 15 of the spring term 2021. So welcome, Stevens members, and that is our undergraduate residential students, our graduate students. It is our full-time and our part-time faculty. It is our full-time and our part-time staff members. It is Board of Trustee members. It is alums, and it is members of the larger Columbia community. And there's a few folks from out of state, outside of Missouri, the East Coast, and down south is representing today. So welcome. This is the 6th of 6 spring facilitation experiences offered by the Equity Offices Plus Compliance. And that is comprised of ADA, Title IX, and DEI. But most importantly, it's led by some phenomenal human beings. So thank you to Sadie Mayerstrand, who serves as the director of the Student Success Center and our ADA 504 coordinator. Thank you to Shannon Walls, who serves as the special assistant to the president and our Title IX coordinator. And I am Shaashawn, the inaugural director of diversity, equity, and inclusion with Stevens, and an alum, very proud alum. And so is Shannon Walls. So we welcome you, and we hope that you have enjoyed the previous 5 facilitations. Most of those videos are up on our various web pages. So you can go to www.stevens.edu and /ADA or DEI or T.A.L.K for Title IX. And then you can watch videos if you weren't able to see it in real time, or you want to deepen your learning and review it and watch it and experience it again. I do want to take a second to do some centering, grounding, and breathing. So I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. And this is specifically for you to communicate with any entity that you may need, but especially to send some positive energy and vibrations to the families of George Floyd, of Dante Wright, and of Makia Bryant, who was a 16-year-old Black female who was killed yesterday in Ohio. So we just want to take a moment to send vibes, energies, whatever your tradition may or may not be, to these individuals and families. Thank you so much. And so today, you will never be the same. Our facilitator is Angela Harvey. Her pronouns are she and her. From a stutterer to a public speaker, from a bullied fat girl to a self-confident woman, from a depressed young adult to an emotionally healthy and stable one, and from a grown woman to a woman on the grow. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Angela Harvey. She continues her own personal growth journey as she's been inspired to be open and being a guide for others who have a desire to create the greatness that they deserve and the greatness they desire. For over 17 years plus, she's been working tirelessly to facilitate, promote, and highlight the importance and sexiness of personal growth. And she is the founder of online radio, social media, live host Conversations with Angela Harvey. She's the founder of Let's Talk University. That's T.A.L.K for Together Acquiring Lasting Knowledge. And she's the founder of Growing Folks Apparel, which is a clothing line of messaging tees that speak to you and speak for you. At all vehicles where she delivers hope, humor, education, and inspiration. So I am actually rocking one of her creations today. Make sure you're growing on your levels. Yes,
right.
So we support the phenomenal woman. So most importantly, she brings compassion like Oprah. She brings knowledge like Dr. Phil. She brings humor like Whoopi Goldberg. She brings orator skills like Barack Obama. But what I like is she is her own beautiful, authentic brand. And that's a ball head by choice rockin', beautiful, brilliant, real change agent who breaks taboos on a daily. And she has an infectious smile and positive energy that is contagious. And my life has been richer for 8+ years and going, knowing her, and much of the facilitation style that many of the Stevens community have experienced. You can thank Angela Harvey for being the seed planter of that. So Stevens community, she can't see you, but she can feel you. So use what the ancestors gave you, and warmly welcome the Angela Harvey.
Ooh, my goodness. You made me sound good. I was looking around like, who is she talking about? That's pretty awesome. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you all for showing up to Grow Up. I'm so excited. Like literally, I'm getting ready to sit on my hands because I'm that excited. And I'm so very glad they saved the best for last. No, I'm not speaking about myself. I'm speaking about the, look, I'm so hot. They got the fire department coming, Shaashawn. They coming for me. They know growth about to go down. They saving the best for last. No, I don't mean myself. I mean this growth thing. And so I thank everyone for showing up to Grow Up. And that's just what we're about to do. I don't believe in wasting time. So we're getting ready to jump right in to the deep end, because that's the only place I grow is in the deep end. I'm not sure if, Shaashawn, should they send questions to you if they have questions during this time, or how does that work? Do they know that? Do we know that?
Absolutely. So I will mute my video and I'm going to mute my audio, but I'm here and folks can email me. You can drop questions or feedback into the Q&A, and then I'll weave that through and be in communication with Angela.
All righty then. So there you go. I want to make sure you guys had an avenue to be able to get to me. I'm just going to start things out by just keeping it 100, as we would say. This growth thing. What is growth? Growth is about increase. It's about expanding. It's about coming up. It's about taking things to the next level. A level up. I was getting ready to start singing, but that's definitely not what I do best. It's about increasing. It's about improving. And so when I speak about growth, personal growth, professional growth, those are things that you're using to grow from where you're at, growing someplace different, someplace new. And I thought it was important that we start things out by giving that a definition, because many times when we tell grown folks that they need to grow up, most people will tell you that they're already there. And I tell people that when your grown has an N on it, yeah, that's not a good thing. It should always be an ing. It should always be growing. And so if we're going to talk about being sexy, which growth is, I thought it was important that we give some definition to that. And it just simply, for the purpose of our conversation, it is going to mean to increase, to expand. And this is in a variety of different areas. Now, there's a reason why growth and growing is so challenging. And that's because it requires you to be confident. It requires you to be a knowledge seeker. It requires you to be able to have the ability to keep it 100, to keep it real, and to show up as yourself. Now, just those things alone is a really big deal. Why? Those things are a really big deal because many of us struggle with being confident, especially in the midst of other people that we might think are smarter, that know more, that are more grown and growing than we are. The knowledge seeker, not just in the areas of which you study, but those things that are in life. And there's something every single day, I'm sure you all know, in places and areas that you can grow. It is always my experience that you grow from whomever and wherever that you can. So everyone can bring knowledge and enhance. I don't turn away knowledge at all. But that being a knowledge seeker goes beyond you just doing what you need to do for your studies and in school. It's about being able to sit with people and listen to their stories and tell their stories, because you find out a lot in that way. The ability to keep it 100. That means to be a truth teller, to be able to seek the truth and to be able to speak your truth. You get all that? Yes, to be able to seek the truth, to speak your truth, and really and truly be okay with people being able to hear what you truly think, feel, and believe. That is always yours to have, and it's always yours to dispense, no matter who you're giving it to. I hope you guys take away that. If you don't take away anything else, that piece is really important. And then show up as yourself. And that's, it makes growth challenging because showing up as ourselves is not something that society has groomed us to do. They have images of what we're supposed to look like, the way we're supposed to act, what we should be. And those things are usually cookie cutter places. And many of us, I should say many of us, some of us, because I will give it to you, I love the new wave student, because you all are stepping in like, hey, I'm here. And I love that. But there are some people who still have a challenge showing up as themselves. And some of that could also be because they're still defining who they are. And so that's what makes growth so very challenging, because again, it requires you to be confident. It requires you to be a knowledge seeker. It requires you to kind of keep it 100, being able to keep it real and to show up as yourself. Now, we're taking growth, and growth going to be the next sexy. And I got an acronym for you that's going to blow you out the water. But before we get there, let's talk about why we should grow up. And I think what's so very important about that is that in order to operate in your full capacity, many of us have cell phones. I was going to say VCR, probably most of the people listening know what a VCR is. But many of the things that we have in life that have these multifunctional things, we only operate or really use them at about maybe a 10% capacity. Sometimes it might be upward, especially if you're talking about a computer or a cell phone, maybe at a 25% capacity. Well, we as humans are no different. So in order for us to be able to operate in full capacity, we have to know about all those different entities, areas of growth that we can absolutely improve upon. And it requires us then to continually grow. So I tell people I am different than I was yesterday because I was confident. I sought knowledge. I'm constantly seeking knowledge. The ability to keep it 100, that's the way I live and grow up, because I don't make it an option. And really and truly being able to show up as myself. I mean, with all my hair and everything. And I know what you all are saying. Does she know that her shirt is wrinkled? Well, I need y'all to know that wrinkled is in the other new sexy. It's supposed to be wrinkled. Anyway, that's one of the reasons why we should. And the other thing is that growth is sexy. And who doesn't want to be sexy? Growth is absolutely the new sexy. At least that's what I'm going to say. And there's a reason that growth is this new sexy. And there's a way that we can all get to be sexy. Y'all with me? Yes. So let's take the S of the sexy. And that is to be self-assured. That is to be confident. That's confident in what you know and what you don't know. I got you on that one, didn't I? Not just what you know, because most people think confidence is in you knowing and you being. Well, it's also knowing what you don't know. Yeah, that's growth right there. Knowing who you are and who you are not. I told you earlier that singing is not what I do well. I do it all the time. I just don't do it well. It is also what you have and what you don't have. I don't have great math skills. Yeah, you do. You don't want me to balance your checkbook, I promise you. But I do know how to engage and empower folks. And so it's also being self-assured is knowing what you have and what you don't have, and also about what you want and what you don't want. Many of us don't do a really good job of being able to call into existence what we want to have happen. We're always talking about what we don't want. I don't want this to happen, or I don't want to go here. It's going to be so very important that if you're going to be growing and you want to get to sexy, that you are self-assured. That S in the sexy is going to be for self-assured, and it is strictly for you to be confident. And so I told you earlier that it's challenging because this confidence thing doesn't shout. When you get in the shower, you don't just get rained upon confidently. It's something that you absolutely have to employ, and you have to create, and you have to nurture, and you have to maintain. I wish you could just pick it up at Target, pay for it and have it, but it's not. And so that self-assurance, that confidence is what you're going to need to get to this sexy. And again, it's what you know and what you don't know, is who you are and who you are not, and being confident in that. I can tell you, please don't put numbers in front of me, but you put a person before me, you have me tell a story or listen to a story. Those are things I know. Stay in your lane. I know my lane. Actually, I don't even have a blinker on my car. That's how I do it. That's how I roll things. I don't even have a blinker in the car. It's absolutely knowing what I know and what I don't know, and things that I don't know and I'm not confident about, I literally can stay out of that lane again. And then what you want and what you don't want, and being able to call into existence what you want to have happen is always going to lead you to be self-assured. Now, the E in sexy, this is actually one of my favorite parts. The E is for education. And so we're talking about knowledge. We're talking about understanding. We're talking about comprehending. Let me dispel a myth here. I want people to know that understanding doesn't necessarily mean acceptance, because sometimes we, let's just say we withhold our understanding because we believe that if I say that I understand, that means I accept what is. We can understand someone's behavior and not accept necessarily the consequence of that behavior or the actions that came from that particular behavior. I need us all to be clear that this education is about knowledge, and this knowledge is about understanding and comprehending. When I talk about education, and again, you can get education anywhere and from just about anybody. People are either going to tell you a way that you should be and could be, or they're going to show you who you should not be. You know, all of us got a few of those people in our life, in our families. You might be sitting next to one. So I want everybody to be challenged to be able to take something away from everything and everybody, whether it's something that you would want to employ or something you want to remain unemployed. That was cute. Somebody write that down. I might want to remember that again. This education thing is about knowledge, and this knowledge, I told you earlier that being sexy, growing up, is going to require you to have some knowledge, to increase your knowledge. And that's going to come from education. Again, not just in your studies, but also in everyday life, in our relationships with our family, in our friendships. But bigger than all of those things, yes, I said bigger, is the relationship that we have with self, which leads us back to the self-assured. We all there? So if growth is sexy, and we all plan on bringing sexy back, we know at this point that we need to be self-assured and we need to seek education. So we got the S and the E, and I know what you're probably thinking. What is she getting ready to pull out of her hat with the X? Like X-ray? No, that's not it. Examine. And okay, I know I probably shouldn't be speaking to college students and educators and spell examine with an X, but it worked for my acronym. So we're going to use that X for examine. And that's simply just about self-awareness. And I say growth is sexy, self-awareness is super sexy. To know who you are and whose you are, to know how you're able to flow, being able to be conscious and cognizant and courageous in just who you are, but knowing who that person is. Many of us grew up with other people telling us who we are. You're someone's little sister, someone's big sister, someone's daughter, someone's son, someone's mother, someone's father, someone's cousin. I mean, literally there was a title, and most of those titles didn't include you being you. Right. It includes you being someone else. So sometimes at examination, what we come up with in being aware, having self-awareness, we come up with a whole lot of things that were given to us, titles and things of that nature that were given to us by other people. So this examination, this self-awareness sounds very easy, but it can absolutely impede your growth simply because many of us don't have the self-awareness that we believe we have. I'm not just talking about what you may see in the mirror. I'm talking about what goes deeper than that, how your heart flows, what makes you angry, what emotions you're able to display. Are you able to display emotions? It's so very detailed. So as you see, this growth being sexy and us trying to bring sexy back is not just about things that are just, you're going to be able to just get off the call and go, okay, then let me just go do that. But never fear, right? I don't believe in dispensing information without teaching a little bit about how to apply some of that. So far we got the being self-aware, because we're definitely bringing the sexy back. We got the self-assured, we got the education, we got the examination, us being able to examine ourselves, to be self-aware. Again, just being conscious. And I put courageous in there because it takes courage to be able to look deep. It usually takes a lot of work to look deep. It takes us sometimes being able to ask and inquire with other people about what they see, about what you know, and about what you feel yourself. And so for that reason, that's just one of the reasons why I put courageous in there. But like, okay, Angie, why does courageous go with self-awareness? Because it takes a courageous person to want to be, to become, and to stay in a self-awareness place. And so I'm not talking about easy stuff, but we all know that sexy is not always easy. You're not always able to just do it, right? And then we have the why, S-E.X.Y. And the why is for you. And the reason I said you, I want us to think about authentic. to be authentic, to be true, to be real, keep it in 100. I said it earlier, to be original. And one of the things that I know about authenticity in who you are, our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, our family, society, our schools, our churches, the community as a whole, they've invested a whole lot of time stripping you of your authenticity, the thing that you did without a second thought, the thing that made you who you were. And so along with that self-exam, you have you attempting to be authentic, and that authenticity a lot of times were taken from us at a very early age. People, our parents wanted us to be and act like them, not do things that were embarrassing. And here's what I say to people: to be authentic truly, truly means to act like a 2-year-old. Like, where else are you going to go that somebody gives you permission to act like a 2-year-old? And if anybody's ever been around a 2-year-old and have a 2-year-old, anything of that nature, you know, they kind of say what they feel, unapologetic, for sure unapologetic. They really and truly look at you like, what did I do? When they just stated what was truth, what was real from their perception. And if you're not acting like a 2-year-old, you're probably not being 100% authentic. And I really and truly thoroughly believe that. And in order to be sexy, you have to walk in a confidence, in an assurity, in a space where you're able to be authentic. And again, some of us might have to grow back to a place where we can remember being able to say certain things without someone telling us that that wasn't the right thing to say. It we shouldn't say it in this particular environment. That wasn't the thing that someone wanted to hear. Those things are going to be so very important. We're dealing with a whole lot in this day and age. Politics and religion and civil unrest and of course this equity and diversion and inclusion and racism and all of those things. And I think that when and if we ever get to a place where we're all able to show up authentically, we will be so crystal clear that we are more similar than we ever could be different. But because we're not all showing up as the people we were between ages 1 and 3, let's say, we've all adopted these other personalities, these other characteristics, these other traits that put us in sometimes very amazing spaces, but sometimes it's not so amazing. I know for myself, I can be judgmental, and I get a lot of my being judgmental from my family, who were very judgmental, not just towards me, but towards other people as well. I saw that and I picked it up like that was the thing to do. I was permitted to be judgmental along with everybody else. In being my authentic self, that's not who I desire to be. It's not who I want to be. Is it difficult to change? Absolutely. Because I'm prone to talk about somebody's attire right quick and right fast and having to catch myself. Being able to keep it authentic is me being able to go to the place where I am the truest to me, to my morals, to my values. And so that why being you, and the you that I'm speaking about is this person that shows up gracefully, unapologetically, authentically, in being just who you are. And again, having to come into that place because many of us are having to move some things out in order for us to move some things in. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, those things are so very important. So again, we have the self-assured, we have the education, we have the examination or the exam, we have the you, we have the confidence, we have the knowledge, we have the awareness, we have the authenticity. That's sexy. We're talking about a whole lot of sexy. But how is growth going to be sexy? It's going to be those things when we're able to be confident and seek knowledge and have a self-awareness where we're able to bring up and to call up what is authentic to us. Shaashawn, I need to know from you, if I can for just a second, how are you going to get these things to me? If in fact anyone has questions and things of that nature, should I be bringing something up? Is it something someplace that I should see it and I'm not? Because then I don't want to do that.
Fantastic. You are moving and grooving.
Yes.
So absolutely beautiful place to pause. So a couple things have come up so far. So first of all, lots of feedback that you are amazing, you are funny, you are confident, So, you're fitting right into the Stevens environment
Yay,
here.
Stephen. I
But
get to be an alumni
one of,
now. Yay.
so one of the questions says, literally, how do you bring it up? How do you call these things up?
Woo! I love it. Look, you got some people there. How do you call it up? First of all, you have to think it, you have to feel it, and you have to believe it. Anything that you think, feel, and believe comes up. I promise you, anything that you think, feel, and believe comes up. That was a great question. And I'm very glad that someone asked that question, because many of us will leave space in the place and like, oh yeah, you know how you read a book and you go all excited about it. And you go, I wonder what they meant by to bring it up. Means one, you have to know what it is that you want. You have to have knowledge about it. You have to be able to think it. You know how you think something like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, this is the way I'm going to do this, what I'm going to do. Really and truly being able to think it over and over and over again. You have to feel it, which is to know that it is already, to speak about it as if it is already. Shaashawn will tell you, and everyone that knows me will tell you that when someone asks you, how are you feeling? I say, I am fantastic. And when I'm not fantastic, I'm working on fantastic. Some of those times that I'm saying that, I'm having to call that up because, honey, listen, I just buried my sister a week and a half ago. So somebody talking to me saying, Angie, how can you be fantastic? It's what I want to think. It's what I want to feel. It's what I want to believe. In this moment, it may not be. But if I'm going to tell a lie, I'm going to tell a lie that brings me up and not one that takes me down. What you won't catch me saying is, oh, I'm doing okay. That's not me. That's not how I roll. It's not a desire of mine to have to be in that space and place. And so I call up fantastic. And when I'm not fantastic, I say I'm working on fantastic. But you see what I'm doing? Either way, I'm putting out the word. The word is what I think, what I feel, and what I believe. And that's to the core of my being that I am. And so when I talk about authenticity and you knowing some of that, you don't even know. It was stripped away so long ago, you don't even know. And what I will tell you in that case is to go to your gut. You know, that thing that happens when you think about something and you think about it, people say, well, you think long, you think wrong, because your gut is instantaneous. Like, should I do that? No, don't do that. Should I do? No, don't do that. Yeah, do that. Your gut is instantaneous. So if you had to go to a place, what you think, what you feel, and you believe, if you had to have something different and you go with your gut is going to be your first instinct. That thing that kind of talks to you in your ear and says, okay, that's not the thing to do, or this is the place to go, or this is what you really feel, what you're passionate about speaks about who you are in your authentic self. Things that you believe in passionately speaks about who you are often in your authenticity, and things you want to do and feel differently speaks about who you are. And some of those things are different than the place that you find yourself in this moment. So you being able to call it up is about you thinking, feeling, and believing it, right? Yeah, because I think Stevens is, I was gonna cuss. I probably shouldn't swear the first time in front of everybody, but y'all know the word I was about. I think Stevens is I put it, go ahead, fill in the blank. Right, I think, and guess what? I'm calling it up. It's what I think, it's what I feel and believe, and it just got called up.
So
And I hope that
complementary
answers
to
your question.
that, I think it did. And complementary to that, another question came in and said, when you were talking about being self-assured, you talked about knowing your lane. What if you don't know your lane?
Ooh, y'all got good questions. I like that. Steven's got educated people over there. How do you know your lane? When you're driving on the highway, you know those things that when you go to the left or to the right, if you they got the little thing there and let you know that, hey, you're out of your lane. Well, we have those things as adults, as humans, where we get ready to move into something, and you know that you're in your lane. Let's stick with knowing where you're in your lane. You know you're in your lane when you are moving forward, when you're growing, when you're self-assured, when you're confident, when you get out of your lane. And that's not to say that that lane can't become some of who you are, but you're out of your lane when you lack confidence, when you lack assurity. Is assurity a word? I might have just made that up. I'm from Cleveland Public Schools, so we tend to make up things. When you lack the ability to move forward, then you're not in your lane. So Some of us are in places and spaces, relationships, jobs where we're out of our lane. It's not something that we think, feel, and believe, and we're uncomfortable. You hear that on the side of the road. It's when you wake up and go, oh, I don't want to do this. Or you get ready to go home and you go, oh, I don't want to go there. Out of your lane is going to make you uncomfortable. Now, growth also makes you uncomfortable. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Growth can make you uncomfortable, but it's the uncomfortability that you can deal with, the uncomfortability that you feel like you can conquer, the things that you think you can get over on. So being in your lane is going to give you some confidence. And when I say there's not a blinker in my lane, there's certain things that we all know about ourselves. I know I don't do math well. Yeah, you're not going to find me trying to be somebody's treasurer or any of those types of things. This is what I know I can do. So some of you being able to stay in your lane is going to come from you being able to know what it is you do well, what you could do with your eyes closed, what you're passionate about learning how to do and knowing how to do. Your other lane is going to be those things that you're not so sure of. And there's some people that might switch lanes and go, you know what, I'm not sure in this space, but I think I want to keep trekking on this lane to see what that looks like. That's totally doable, because then you can go back if that's not where you grow in, right? That's the other thing. When you're in your lane, you're absolutely grown and growing. I hope that, please let me know if that answered your question. If not, I'm gonna pass it to Shaashawn.
Okay, here's another one. I'll read it twice because it has different dimensions to it. Okay.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Let me put on my, look, let me put on my thinking hair. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
What happens if pursuit of growth causes self-isolation or animosity in outside relationships? Almost like the pursuit of growth verges on self-obsession. Can pursuit of growth be negative?
Yeah. Guess what? You want to see people squirm, change. You want to see people be uncomfortable with who you are, change. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Growth, I'm a therapist. I am a motivational speaker. I am a sister. I'm a whole lot of things. And in this moment, it just so happens you all caught me in a growth season. Hear me when I tell you, for the last 6 months, leaps and bounds, and everybody around me is thrown, because the person who I was, the codependent, insecure in some respects, the person that you could pretty much say anything to, I was a genie in the bottle, you act like you want it, I'm gonna make it happen type of thing. So yes, growth is going to be negative in that. Those people that you consider to be your friends, your ride or die, no matter what, those people are gonna look like, wait a minute, I'm not able to get you to bring me lunch and not pay you. Wait a minute, I'm not able to get you to take notes from me and I not give you anything in return. Those people that think, oh, you want me to show up for you instead of you just showing up for me? Growth is absolutely going to be uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be uncomfortable for you, because when you're moving to a place where you, oh my goodness, I could preach on this one. When you're moving into a place that makes other people uncomfortable, but you're being assured, and that does take some confidence. It takes some self-assurance. It takes some self-examination. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to grow there. It means that people are going, expect people to be thrown by you not doing things the way you normally do them, especially when it benefits them. What you did benefits them. What you're doing benefits you. So growth is going to, I'm so very glad they said that. Growth is going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to lose some people. You're going to lose some people. It might be your mama. It might be your partner. It might be, as long as it's not Shaashawn or me, we good. You're going to lose some people. And you can expect to lose some people. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Anyone that has a problem with you putting you first is a part of your problem. I think this is where you drop the mic. Right, bam. Anyone that has a problem with you putting you first, you growing up, you being confident, you being self-assured, you doing you first, is a part of your problem. And you grow from there. That was an amazing question. I'm so glad that I put on my thinking hair and I was able to articulate that. I hope that responds to their question.
Love it. They are coming in steady flow. The next question: how do you make amends for the person you used to be?
Ooh, come on now. I'm loving this. Making amends. First of all, you have to determine what making amends means. Most of the time, it's going to be inward work, because you having to forgive you, because if growth is sexy and we're trying to bring sexy back, we absolutely know that we've done some things, said some things, acted some ways that we absolutely look back and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. But The biggest piece of that is you being able to forgive yourself, to go inward, to make that amends to you, to know that in that time, in that moment, I did what I knew how to do. And if it's different than that, you knew better and didn't do better, because please know that knowing better doesn't make you do better. That takes motivation. That takes intentionality. Many of us have read books that we have not yet applied, right? Yeah, I'm not going to tell you, Professor, don't worry about it. But be clear that making amends inward is going to be first. You being able to make amends to other people is going to also take them being receptive of that, and you being okay with what that reception is, whether it's lukewarm, whether it's cold, or whether it's hot like fire. But when you do it, the amends comes from within you, and you can feel better about you and where you were and where you are, the places you've grown from and to. That's when the real work happens, is inside you. I don't want anybody to hold up their growth waiting on somebody to forgive you, waiting on somebody to apologize to you. Yeah, don't let those things keep you from growing, because there's some people that are never, ever, ever going to be able to give you that. There's some people that are holding on to grudges and some of the things that you used to do and said so tightly that you'll never be able to do enough. But when you can release you, you're released. And I think that about bondage, I'm not sure why that makes me emotional. When I think about bondage, and a bondage that so many of us are in, and we're in those spaces and places waiting on somebody to release us, when we got the keys, like literally the keys are in our pocket, but we're looking outside going, can you please let me out? And I just would implore you all to not go in your pocket, put that key in and release yourself, because nobody's coming for you. Yeah. Mama gone, daddy gone. Yeah, nobody's coming for you. So you absolutely have to be and do that yourself. Your amends is going to come from here first. And I hope that responded to your question.
Ooh. Okay, so
Yes.
someone says a lot of this growth has been on the individual level. What are your tips for organizations that need or want to grow?
Ooh, listen, it takes a lot of individuals to be in a space and place. And I know that I'm not going to say most people, I'm going to say everybody has been in spaces and places, in an organization, in a job, in a company where there was this happening, all of that. And that's because everybody's on a different level. For growth to happen in a place, we all have to have some of the same foundation. That doesn't mean we have to think the same. It doesn't mean we have to be the same. In fact, organizational growth is going to work best when we're all different. But there has to be a foundation that is the same, and that's going to include the same outcome, the same vision, and the same mission. If everybody, and you get some people that's on their own stuff, they got their own mission, they got their own vision, and they got those things. If those three things are not the same, and then when we can all pour into it, and let me tell you what that means. That means everyone feeling safe enough. They're now calling it psychological safety. Everyone feeling safe enough to show up as themselves, to bring their thoughts, because all of world problems can be solved by the line workers of America, meaning those people that are doing the actual work. But then we got management, we got upper management, we got senior management, we got CEOs, we got presidents. And those presidents don't know what these people at the bottom are saying. In order for us to be heard, we have to have those three things be the same, and we have to all be accountable to adding to those things. The other thing is, and it's the hugest might be another word that I made up in my Cleveland Public School dictionary. But anyway, and that's going to be being clear that we don't have our own agendas. When people come with their own agendas, it's very difficult for organizations to grow, because I want to grow left and you want to grow right. And instead of us sitting down making a decision, let's just grow in the middle. You pulling and I'm pulling, and then I'm going to see how many people I can get on my side to pull. You're going to see how many people you get on your side to pull. And that's how things implode. So it's going to take you all being clear about what the outcome, what the vision and the mission is, and us pouring into that. And I've been known to say, okay, how does that feed into our outcome? That should be something that should be everywhere. Outcomes, mission, and vision should be everywhere in the organization. If what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm suggesting is not something that feeds into one of those buckets, it's going to be a challenge. And it doesn't mean that several things can't be there. And then we have to learn to compromise. And compromise isn't 50-50, people. Yeah, nowhere near. Compromise is 70-30. It's 80-20. It's 75-25. You see, I got all those numbers right. Hey, watch me. I'm about to be able to balance a checkbook. What? It's not 50-50. 50-50 is usually two people pissed off or two sides of an organization, because you know it's always two sides to an organization. Compromise is going to look like somebody giving a little bit more, taking a little bit less for the benefit of the organization, for the benefit of the team. And when you don't have the ability to have the outcome, the vision, and the mission to be what we're all striving for, there's going to be a problem. Growth is not going to happen. It's going to be stunted. And the same thing goes for a relationship. You can take that peanut butter I just gave you and spread it over the entire bread. Organization, company, relationship, friendship, and yeah, all of that. Spread it thin. I like peanut butter thin on my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Before we answer the next question, though, I want to talk a little bit about application. So we talked about the self-assured, we talked about the education, we talked about the examination, we talked about the you. I don't want anybody to walk away from here. I tell people all the time that knowledge is like paint. And if you don't apply the paint, the color of your world never changes. So I don't want you to leave here in this 40-something minutes that we have together and say, oh, you know what? That lady was cool. She had a nice smile. You know, she shaved her head really well. Her earrings are cute. Did you see her lipstick? It's not about any of those things. It's about you being able to gather information and being able to apply that information. How can we apply this? This growth is sexy, and that's being able to bring sexy back. It's truly about you being able to literally operate in those spaces and places intentionally, meaning this stuff doesn't just come to you. You have to wake up in the morning, and whether it's during your meditation or whether you're roll out of bed, because for some people rolling out of bed is the meditation, you have to be clear about what your intentionality is for that day, for those moments. And if in fact you're looking to be sexy, then you're going to allow yourself to be self-assured all day. That means it's to provide the confidence that you need for yourself. In my meditation, I'm saying over and over again, I am enough. I am more than enough. In the end, I'm like, you a bad. Okay, I was about to cuss again, y'all. Y'all trying to get me to cuss. I can't do that. Yes, the education piece, seeking knowledge. So I don't mean just waiting for knowledge to fall on you. I'm talking about you literally growing out of your way to seek knowledge, to enhance. In order for those things to be applicable, you have to be able to apply that paint. Again, the examination, sometimes when I don't see things in myself, because if you take your hand and put it very close to your face, you can't tell me how many lines are on your hand, unless you're a biology major, then y'all already know, but yeah, that don't count. You put your hand close and you can't see how many lines in your hand, but if I turn it around, Shaashawn could tell me just what's there. Sometimes our self-examination is going to be something that comes from somebody else, right? Somebody else could tell you what they see. I call them mirrors. And everybody should have at least one mirror in their life, somebody that they trust to reflect who they are back at them, no matter what and who that is that they see, that they're able to give you that information and you grow from that. And then the you is knowing that you're probably not as authentic as you think you are if you're not acting like a 2-year-old. So again, having this knowledge and wanting to be sexy is going to take you literally intentionally seeking to be self-assured, to be educated, to examine, and to absolutely get to the place of, you remember what I said was authenticity? Being authentic was being able to get to that you piece. Now, I know in the scheme of things, because I'm the same way, I'm like, life is too much. Like they want us to do this at school. We got to do this at work. They want this in a relationship. And I got to work on myself and I'm spiritual and I got to do this and I got to do this. And guess what? It becomes so overwhelming. I'm just going to ask you if you just put S.E.X.Y and you put it on your mirror, if for just in that moment you go, oh yeah, I remember when she said about self-assurance, and you pop your collar in the mirror, be like, yes, girl, you are the bomb today. Leave yourself little clues around, because the more and more you think, feel, and believe the places you're growing to, the quicker you are to get there. Once you get there, I promise you, it will be second nature. You'll do it. I mean, literally like the dysfunctional things that we do now without a second thought. Guess what? We can also do very great things, functional things, productive things, passionate things. We can do those things on purpose when we grow to do them, when we can do them with our eyes closed, right? Or our head shaven or with lipstick on, or those types of things. So I want you all to at least be able to walk away with the thought that, one, I'm not saying anything to you that you can't do. Not anybody listening to me that will ever listen to this video and not be able to do it. But it's going to take intentionality. It's going to take self-motivation. It's going to take the ability to be able to see and feel and think, the ability to be able to communicate and to own your truth. Because some of us have the truth and we can speak the truth, but owning it, when somebody come back and say, did you say that? You like, I ain't say that. Like, yeah, that is kind of your truth. So I want you absolutely to be able to apply what we've talked about today, to know what it is and to apply it. Because knowledge without application is just paint on the floor. Just paint on the floor. And if that blue wasn't up there, it would be on the floor. And if you don't apply the paint, the color of your world will never, ever, ever change. Ever, 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 ever. Shaashawn, do we have more questions?
We do not at this moment, but folks
Okay.
can pop them in the Q&A if they want. We have about 13, 14 minutes left. So we're moving
Okay.
and grooving. I'll let you know if
Is there
something comes
anything?
through.
Okay, is there anything that you yourself, not necessarily you personally, but you professionally, would want to have out there?
Well, being familiar with you, having seen you facilitate, been a student of yours, and been one who partake of a guided journey with you, I would be so grateful if you would bless the Stevens community with the definition of open, because Stevens is in the midst of a DEI strategic plan and process. We're having campus-wide listening sessions, right? This is an inaugural role, an inaugural position. So there's a lot of change that's happening around DEI, with the ultimate vision is that it'll be embedded in everything we do, right? Like recruitment and retention, it's everybody's responsibility. There may be some people in positions who help push it, lead it, or who have some specific responsibility, right? But get someone enrolled and then have them here and then graduate, which is May 7th and May 8th here at Stevens. That takes everybody. So can you, I think that your definition specifically was heart, mind, spirit, empowering, blowing open when I experienced you. So if you would please share that, I think that could be a takeaway and nugget for many.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let me tell you what's really cool about this, you guys, is that I live with this definition. I live by this definition because I didn't know what she was going to say, but I absolutely know it. To be open is to be exposed and vulnerable to attack or question. And I know what you're saying already. Who wants to be exposed and who wants to be vulnerable on purpose? Like, Angie, you're not making a whole lot of sense. Like, did you just sniff something on the side and didn't tell us? Right. No one wants to be exposed and nobody wants to be vulnerable. But in order for you to be open, which means that things are able to flow in and flow out. What I don't think we realize is that when we're closed, we believe we're closing people out so that they can't get in. What we don't realize is that we're actually closing ourselves in and we can't get out. Let's just put that a different way. We in and we can't grow out. For you to be open, again, understanding does not mean acceptance. It doesn't equal acceptance. Understanding means I understand how you think and how you feel about a particular thing, or how you arrive at a particular place, or how you grow in the way that you grow. And I think that we lack the ability to be able to be open when we feel like being open is getting ready to expose or make us vulnerable. And being open in almost every instance that I can ever think of, in being open, requires me to be all the things, to be sexy, because it requires me to be confident. I could be open and be confident and not be crushed. I could be open and be knowledgeable and not be dumb. I could be open and be self-aware and not be invisible. And I could be open and be myself and not feel like I'm not keeping it real. But that open piece is going to be what allows you to flow, not just to take in and be bombarded. Like, okay, they're pushing this DEI thing on me, and they're pushing this on me. And now they want me to be inclusive, and now they want me to be equitable, and now they want me to be all these things. And the first thing we think is what? Oh, if you're telling me to do something, that means you think I haven't done it. If you're asking me to give something, that means that I haven't given enough. If you're asking me to be something, that means that who I am is not enough. That's not what was said. To be open means that there are other things that are happening, many, many, many other things that are happening. It doesn't mean that who you are, what you flow with, how you grow isn't the right way. They're looking for incorporation. And I remember once being in a relationship, and I was getting a lot of pushback because you want to change me. I said, I'm not asking you to change. I'm asking you to incorporate another individual into your space. Ooh, I just blew that out. That was good. Yeah, that was good. That's all open is Stevens is going to be asking you to incorporate some different things into your dictionary, into your arsenal, into your friendliness, into your everything. Not take out everything you got and put this in. It's like take what we have. And if you could just, that same peanut butter, if you can just rub that peanut butter across the whole bread. For this instance, some of y'all could just be DEI while you're on campus, and you can go do whatever it is you need to do off campus if that's the way you're choosing to live. But please be clear that being open doesn't mean that you're not good enough, that you're not already where you're supposed to be. It's truly about you being able to ebb and flow, to take in and to have output, and also just to be able to be clear in what and who you are, but also being able to incorporate newness. Because guess what? That's growth. And growth is what? The new sexy. Come on now. And we all looking to do what? To bring the sexy back, right? Like, sexy looks good on anybody. I don't care who wearing it. Sexy looks good. That means growth looks good on anybody. I hope that responds to your question.
Yes. And it looks like we have, time for maybe one or two more questions. I have one right now. And the question was, how are the S and the X and the Y different? They seem interchangeable.
Okay. Well, see, guess what? Anything that you can interchange is not the same. If you can interchange them, that means they're three separate things. Self-assured is about a confidence. The self-awareness is about knowing who you are, whose you are, what you think, what you feel, what you believe, being conscious and cognizant and courageous in those spaces. And the Y is about being often authentic. I'm trying to say authenticity and authentic at the same time. It's about being authentic. So confidence is different than self-awareness. It's different in being authentic. And I'm very glad that someone asked that question, because it means that there's a place for us to be able to spin off of what someone thought, or many people could think is the same thing. And that's what we've been led to believe, that if you're one thing, you're all things, and it's not true. So my confidence is very different than me being self-aware. I could be self-aware and know that I'm not confident. And my authenticity is very different than me being confident. Authenticity means me showing up as myself. Being self-assured means I'm confidently showing up as myself. So if I'm aware enough to be authentic and show up as my confident self, all then I have to bring is the education to have the sexy. Bam! Bam! That was my Run DMC. Y'all probably don't even know who Run DMC is. I'm the king.
I love it. There's some in the community for sure. Right. So the last question that just came in, and it's a beautiful question, said, you gave us one thing to do, which was to put the S.E.X.Y on the mirror. Can you give one or two more homework assignments?
Wait a minute. Shaashawn must have told y'all I am the queen of homework. I love giving, I call it growth work. Whoever that is, high five, bam, fist bump. Yeah, you did that. Absolutely. I'm going to give you 4 more. I could probably give you homework assignments till we have to get off the Zoom call. Take 3 people that you know and you trust, and ask them to tell you who they see. Tell them that Angie gave you a homework assignment to do some self-awareness. And a part of your self-awareness is you being aware that you don't know everything that everyone sees when they see you. And ask 3 people that you trust and that you are confident and would allow to mirror you, and ask them what they see, and be open to it. Because I am clear that I can be this amazing person when I'm aware of how I present to other people. So I could come across, I mean, you see here, I'm sitting here bald with earrings on, but if somebody else see a person with hair, and I might need to change my scope if they seeing hair and ain't no hair up there. So that's one homework assignment. The other thing is, take the last self-help book you read and consider how you've applied that book. Because most of us have read, write this down, because these are books I absolutely would recommend, The 5 Love Languages. We've read them. Have we applied it? We know what they are. Have we used them to our benefit? We've read oh my goodness, the 4 agreements, which I swear by. We've read the 4 agreements. Have we applied the 4 agreements? We know what they are, but do we use them to our benefit? So that's the second homework assignment. The third one I'm going to give you is to consider, take a 2-year-old, any 2-year-old that you know, and watch them for an hour and watch what they say, what they do, how they act, and consider how you can incorporate those things into your world. Also, pay some attention to how often you or somebody else around them will attempt to snatch that authenticity. Like, hey, don't do that. Hey, don't say that. Hey, don't be that way. Hey, oh, here's one I love. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Oh my goodness. Do you know how many things that need to be said are not nice? I'm going to say, if you can't say something nice in a kind way, I mean, if you can't say something in a kind way or say something nice, switch it around where what can be perceived as maybe negative or adverse can absolutely be said in a way, especially if it's going to enhance you or a relationship that you have or somebody else. Because there are many things that people don't consider to be nice that need to be said. So there was 3 homework assignments. So I did you one better. I hope that was to come up for everybody. Like, yes. And I know Shaashawn already wrote it down. So I don't want anybody saying the next time I see y'all, because I think Shaashawn gave me an honorary degree. Look at Shaashawn. I'm the homework queen. Shaashawn is the notes queen. I could talk for 10 minutes and she'll have 17 pages. I don't know how she do it. I don't know how she does it.
So the last question that just came in, and it's perfect, says, how can they connect with you? How can people get more of you? Where can they see you, hear you, learn with you, learn from you? Go.
Here's the amazing thing about this. A girl is Googleable. I know I made that word up. That's what Cleveland Public Schools do. Right. AngieHarveySpeaks.com is my website. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, Angie Harvey Speaks. On Facebook, I am on LinkedIn. Angie Harvey Speaks will come up. Angie Harvey comes up on Google. I've not been as active because I told you I just had a death in my family. My sister was a big piece of my world. I'm the therapist, but she was my counselor. And so it's been a minute, but there's not anything on it that you can't grow from. There are growth opportunities on my YouTube page and email. You can reach me at email Angie. What is my email address? Through my website, it will get to me. But also Shaashawn, I will give Shaashawn all of this information. And look, I'm gonna put it back on Shaashawn. Shaashawn, when you dispensing those notes that you got, all beautiful and everything, I will give her everything to touch base. I do this type of speaking. I do all kinds of engagements. I do boot camps and retreats and all those types of things. Any place where I can teach grown folks how to grow up, I'm there. Call me.
Single retreats, couple retreats, single retreats, couple retreats, marriage officiant.
Right. Yeah. She about to say everything. I was just trying to keep it little. Shaashawn, I grow people up.
You are huge. You are huge, and you know this. Really, there was one of the last comments said, "This has been so fantastic!" Exclamation point. Thank you! Exclamation point.
Oh my goodness, that is so amazing. I love what I do. And I promise you, people would not pay me if they knew what kind of fun I had. They're like, I'm not paying her for that. She had too much fun. I love what I do, and I love helping grown folks grow up. And let's talk. Together acquire lasting knowledge. I don't do anything with you that doesn't benefit me as well. Right? That's sexy. I'm not giving anything away without taking a little bit for myself. And so I absolutely appreciate you all because you gave me the opportunity to grow up with you as well. And I thank you.
Well, thank you, Angela.
I'm excited at the end. I'm like,
on behalf of our Stevens community, comprised of amazing undergraduate students, graduate students, part-time faculty, full-time faculty, part-time staff, full-time staff, board of trustees, senior leadership staff, alums, and members of the larger Columbia community. We had Dr. Micaiah Smith-Morris on the line, all the way from
Woo!
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I just want to say thank you so much for giving of yourself, for really being the closer of this series. So we want to acknowledge all of the facilitators who came this term. We had Jill and Renee from S.E.L.K, so Services for Independent Living, that did 3 out of our 6 presentations on visible and invisible disabilities. We want to thank Michaela and Tracy from the Center Project, who helped us ungender our allyship. And we want to thank Catherine Jenkins from Harrisburg, PA, who took us through the multi-generations and make sure that we are celebrating and thinking about our communication styles with the multiple generations currently in the workplace. And then you for making sexy, the new growth is sexy, sexy's the new growth, all of it. And I just am so blessed that I was able to connect you with a community that helped chisel me from 18 to 22, that now I'm back in my early 40s to contribute again, and then for this community to know you and someone who's been so pivotal and has poured into so many of us who are using our gifts and our talents and our skills. And you've wiped tears for me. You have been a beautiful mirror for me. You have held me accountable. You have given me so many homework assignments. And so I'm just grateful that our relationship continues to evolve and grow and love. So thank you for being.
I thank you all. I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to show up and to show out with you, and that you entrusted all these amazing people with me and the knowledge that I seek to dispense daily. I appreciate you all for sure. You created an amazing, amazing life for yourself. If I don't see you all again, and know that growth is sexy, and I'm looking for y'all to bring sexy back. That's your 4th homework assignment. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, y'all.
All right. Well, thank you, Lita Pistono, who's always the glue, the technical guru who makes everything happen. Thank you, Lita. Thank you to each and every one of you who prioritize time in a very busy part of the spring term to prioritize this 60 minutes. And don't forget, we have 2 more DEI listening sessions. The next one is tomorrow, which is Thursday, the 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Zoom. And then we have one next Thursday, which is April 29th. And that one will be a socially distanced, face covered in LRW. And that will round out our 7 campus-wide listening sessions. So please look at your email, open the emails from the equity@stevens.edu, and I try to make them concise and put some graphics in there. But either way, we want and need to hear from you. And if you're not comfortable attending via Zoom or socially distanced, then we can do a one-on-one Zoom, we can make an appointment, we can meet off campus so that you feel comfortable enough to share your lived and learned experiences as we move and create our DEI culture at Stevens. So don't forget. Thank you, Angela Harvey. You're amazing. Thank you, Stevens. Have a great one. Peace.